Even though some time has passed since the tragic helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, and 7 other people, his fans are still mourning the loss of the legend of basketball. Immediately after the news about the event spread, many people, including celebrities, sent their condolences. Among them was Michael Jordan, who issued an official statement. What was the relationship between these two athletes? Was Kobe Bryant, who admitted that the Chicago Bulls icon was his idol, his successor? How did Bryant imitate his idol? I'll tell you all about it, so stay with me until the end. But before that, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss our other celebrity videos. Kobe Bryant inherited his passion for basketball from his father, Joe Bryant. He also was an NBA player who played for the Philadelphia 76ers, San Diego Clippers, and Houston Rockets. Young Kobe watched his dad and repeated his moves, and at the age of 3, he announced that in the future he also wanted to play basketball. From a young age, he had another great idol besides his father. It wasn't Michael Jordan, but Magic Johnson. Apparently, Kobe's parents still have the small Lakers jacket that he wore as a child. And Bryant later admitted in interviews that his parents joked that he was a supporter of this team even before he could speak. But it's hardly surprising because the 1980s was the time of the Lakers and Magic Johnson. Kobe said that he wanted to play like the famous athlete, and when he lived in Italy, he spent hours watching videotapes that were sent to him from the States to learn his moves and tactics. Apparently, Bryant even had a life-size poster of Johnson at his Italian home. When he returned to the United States with his family in 1992, Kobe found out that he wouldn't be as tall as his idol, so he began to see similarities between himself and Michael Jordan. That's when he completely focused his attention on the Chicago Bulls player, his strength, determination, and confidence. Later, Bryant admitted that actually people often had no idea how that athlete influenced him. And Michael, who was 15 years older than Kobe, was already a big star. In 1996, when Kobe Bryant, instead of going to college, immediately went to the NBA and signed a contract with the LA Lakers, the unquestionable star of the Chicago Bulls had already won 3 championships, many MVP titles, and held records for most scored points. Despite this, Bryant, who was still a teenager, with natural confidence, said that he was ready to challenge the legend on the court. In interviews, he also admitted that he, like Jordan, had the same goal and wanted to be the best. Actually, the two athletes had quite similar personalities. The former Lakers player Rick Fox once said that neither of them tolerated imperfections and they didn't accept weaknesses. And of course, they hated losing. They were also similar in their gestures or behavior on the basketball court. Kobe Bryant, just like Michael Jordan, even stuck his tongue out during the most difficult actions. And many of his moves looked like great copies of Michael Jordan's actions. When asked about comparisons to the famous Bulls player, Bryant assured that he didn't mind them because he wanted to be as good as Jordan. The fans of the sport liked it, and advertisers used the opportunity because the clashes of these two attracted millions of viewers. They played against each other for the first time on February 8, 1998, during the All-Star Game. That's when Kobe became the youngest starter in the history of All-Star Games. The game was advertised as a clash between the best basketball player in the world and his potential successor. In the end, Jordan's team won the game, and he even won the MVP award. But Bryant was undeniably the brightest star of his team. Throughout the years, out of 8 clashes in the league, Bryant's team won 5 times, but Jordan had a higher average of points, scoring 24.5 points against Kobe's 22.8. And experts consider the last clash between these two giants to be a kind of passing down the legacy. So on March 23, 2003, the 40-year-old Jordan, who played for the Washington Wizards, scored 23 points, while the younger Bryant scored 55. Besides that, in Michael's last NBA game, Bryant wore Air Jordan's shoes. What was Jordan's reaction to that? He laughed and said that Kobe could wear them, but he could never fill his shoes. But later, Michael admitted that he saw a part of himself in Kobe. And the Lakers player said that he was never afraid to ask the legendary basketball player for advice, who helped him and answered all his questions. So the thing that connected them was not only competition, but also a friendship. Phil Jackson, First, the coach of the Chicago Bulls and then the LA Lakers, who stood behind the success of Jordan and Bryant, also talked about the similarities and differences between the two great players. After all, he spent many hours with them, so he knew them very well. In his book, 11 Rings, The Soul of Success, he stated that at the beginning of his career, Bryant was arrogant and confident. But Jordan also showed these traits when he was young. They were both individualists. The one difference was that Michael was outgoing and liked the company of his teammates, and they often joked around, and Kobe kept to himself. When he joined the team, he was very young and avoided making friends, but that had later changed. The coach also revealed that he had to work with Bryant more than he did with Jordan because he had to convince Kobe that he couldn't win the championship by himself, and he needed the team to do that. Maybe this was also the reason for Bryant's long-term conflict with his teammate Shaquille O'Neal, because throughout his career, Jordan was the #1 star in his teams, while the ambitious Kobe for a long time had to compete with Shaq. Kobe even said in interviews that he envied Michael Jordan because he had to be both the shooting guard and the point guard, while Jordan had the support of Scottie Pippen. He said that for the shooter being the point, he had some restrictions, as when he played with O'Neal. And although they both complimented each other after good games in the media, their fights for leadership in the group were well known. The players made up only at the end of Bryant's career. In December 2014, Kobe finally beat Michael Jordan and became the best shooter in NBA history. Actually, the Bulls player needed almost 200 games fewer than Kobe to score 32,292 points, but Jordan still congratulated his colleague. He said that Bryant was an amazing player with a great work ethic and a passion for basketball, and he enjoyed watching him on the court. Despite this spectacular success, experts agreed that Black Mamba would never beat the legendary player. But Bryant said that it didn't matter because there would simply be no second MJ, and for him it was an extraordinary honor to be even mentioned next to his idol. However, it seems that this solution is not so simple, and the basketball fans are still making comparisons of these two players. The examples that they give are that Bryant outperforms Jordan on the number of points scored in a single match and overall in his career, and he was placed on the All-NBA team 15 times to Jordan's 11. On the other hand, Jordan won more championship titles, MVP awards, and NBA top scorer titles. In addition, Michael turned out to be a more effective player because he shot 82% from the free throw line and 45% from the field. What influenced the legend status of both stars was also how they were perceived. I have to say that in addition to all his success, Michael Jordan also enjoyed an impeccable opinion and had the image of an empathetic and an open person. The thing that probably helped him was the fact that when he was on top, the internet wasn't the main means of communication, and he didn't have to deal with crowds of fans with phones and cameras. That's also why, for instance, Jordan managed to hide the birth of his son for a few months. Or, for years, very few people knew about his gambling problems that caused him to lose loads of money. His image also wasn't affected by the divorce with his wife. Jordan was a celebrity loved by many, and he created his brand and became a global phenomenon like no other athlete before him. It was from his contract with Nike that started the boom on sports shoes signed with his name, and he earned more from advertising contracts than from playing basketball. Bryant also followed this path. First, when he was a teenager, his father convinced him to sign a lucrative contract with Adidas, only to sign with Nike in 2003 and earn millions. But in his case, sometimes the fame was also harmful. Let's take the huge scandal from 2003 that undermined the perfect image of the basketball player. What happened? Well, an employee of a hotel in Colorado, the 19-year-old Caitlin Faber, accused the athlete of an assault. Kobe made a public apology and said that the intercourse was consensual, although he then understood that the girl didn't see it the way he did. The case ended in a settlement, but the terms of it were kept private. But you can find out more about this topic in our other video about the story of Kobe and his wife Vanessa. Thanks to the media, the fans could also see Kobe's outbursts of anger, arguments with journalists, or clashes with Shaquille O'Neal. Although, of course, Kobe had matured, and after passing the selfish phase on the court, He has proved himself to be an excellent team leader as well as a devoted husband and father to 4 daughters. And thanks to that, he will be remembered as an outstanding athlete. He won 5 championships with the LA Lakers and 2 Olympic gold medals with the national team. He was chosen as the NBA Finals MVP twice, and the numbers that he wore on his shirt, 8 and 24, were retired by the club, making him the 10th Lakers player to receive that honor, but the first in the history of the NBA with 2 retired numbers. There were rumors that he changed his number because he wanted to one-up Jordan, and he definitely wanted to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Before his death, he talked about it many times, admitting that only 2 people could bring him there. These people were Michael Jordan and his former coach, Phil Jackson. But after the tragic accident that took place on January 26th, which took the lives of Kobe and 8 other people, the head of the Basketball Hall of Fame announced that the process of his induction will skip the usual voting stage, and Kobe Bryant will be posthumously honored this year. We don't know whether his mentors and friends will give speeches like Kobe wanted. What we know is that the loss of his younger colleague was very difficult for Michael Jordan. In a statement that he posted after Bryant's death, Jordan wrote, "I am in shock over the tragic news of Kobe and Gianna's passing. Words can't describe the pain I'm feeling. I loved Kobe. He was like a little brother to me. We used to talk often, and I will miss these conversations very much. He was a fierce competitor, one of the greats of the game, and a creative force. Kobe was also an amazing dad who loved his family deeply and took great pride in his daughter's love for the game of basketball." And what do you think? Was Kobe Bryant the successor of Michael Jordan, or did he create his own legacy? Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with Curiosips. Until next time.